I'm Alex Thomas, and this is B.A.R.S at Nexus Sound Studio. We're here today with DWARE
How y'all doing?
and Danny Shipley.
Hey guys.
How you guys doing today?
We are good.
Good.
We are blessed to be invited to come in and be a part of the show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Happy to have
beautiful
you.
studio. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. So, how did you guys meet? How did this collaboration come about?
It's a funny story.
Do you want me to tell it?
No, he can start.
All right.
Yeah.
I was on Facebook and I was looking for musicians because my drummer dropped out of a gig that I was playing in Brunswick, and I play gigs, like 3-hour gigs, just entertaining people and just fun and classics and stuff like that. And I needed a drummer, and somebody recommended me to this guy, and on his Facebook there was no pictures or videos of drums whatsoever. So I was like, well, either he's the biggest liar in the whole world, or he's the best drummer in the whole world.
Doesn't have to post anything.
He didn't post anything. He's got a picture of his kid. He's there. So we started talking, and I'll let you do.
Yeah, so I got a message from him on Messenger on Facebook. And so I looked him up, took some time before. So the one thing about me when I'm working with other people, I'm very slow to respond. That's because I like to do my research first, But yeah, he messaged me and I told him, yeah, we could do the gig. And so he came over to the studio in my home, and he asked me, what do I do? So I was like, maybe I should just show you. So I turned on one of my records, one of the songs I was working on. And so I went back to like setting drums up. I'm listening, and he immediately starts playing to it. Just playing by ear, which was refreshing because I hadn't really played with anybody that had that ability in a while. So after that, he asked me to do a couple more gigs. And then from there, we started just kind of creating together. And we just made a decision to start working with each other side by side as far as creative partners.
Yeah.
So
I feel like, the goals and just what the drive and the ambition in the music really just filled in the gaps with everything. I was like, wow, I think I just found some like more than just a fellow musician, like a friend, which working in the music industry and working in the music scene, like if you can find people that you get along with and you can do things on stage and you can work with and be friends with, it's like gold, it's a beautiful thing. Very beautiful.
Sure. I've met a lot of my closest friends through music,
Yeah.
Work clients, and now they're my best friends.
Absolutely.
So,
Right.
Absolutely.
When you find a good one, keep them around.
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
Because there's not a lot of people that I feel like, I can get close to and call them like true friends, in music, to be honest. But there's a few more, a lot of other guys that I connect with or whatnot. But me and him have connected in a way where now we're like creative partners with how we move.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Very much so.
It's been a journey.
And you started off as a drummer?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I actually got a long resume. A lot of people don't know. So I started out playing drums. I started playing drums when I was 5 years old. But I was playing drums for everybody, like from different artists and church events and just different Christian events. I started out on the Christian music side of things. So I was playing at a handful of different Christian events and different artists. What happened was I was playing drums, but I just felt within myself like I'm a creator. Like I want to create something, So I was going to the guys I was playing drums for, and I was offering myself to be a creative writer or something of that nature. But like they already had established what they wanted or what they were doing. So they didn't really give me much space there, So I told myself, we're going to go and make our own music. Now, I didn't know what I was going to make. That was just an idea. We're going to make something. I don't know what it was. So I started writing songs, and they were like songs for like singing. But then as I'm writing those songs, I was getting like ideas for hip hop records too. So I'm writing both like, singing like songs meant for a singer and then songs meant for a rapper. I honestly didn't want to be the performer. I didn't want to be the rapper. I didn't want to be the artist. I just enjoyed the creative part of it. Right. So I'm like, I could just hand this off to somebody else to do it. Well, it didn't really work like that. Nobody wanted to. nobody wanted to listen or perform the songs.
Yeah.
So I ended up just getting to a place where I started writing them for me and started performing them, and had no idea what I was doing. I really still don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. But I mean, it's been working.
Yeah.
So.
Sounds great. It's all a learning process, and that's the fun part about music is just experimenting and growing into learning new things.
Yeah, it was it literally was just me just experimenting. Like I don't like the crazy thing about experimenting and creating. Like I don't even think in genres. Like because with playing drums, I played like most genres. Like with different artists approaching me, asking to play drums for them. But I don't think in genres. I think like I listen to the music and what's being created, and if it sounds good to me, we just run with it. And Danny actually would tell me, well, that actually fits in this genre. That fits in that genre. I'm like, I don't know. It sounds good to me. Like, it would just run with it.
Yeah, it's cool when you can cross genres, and sometimes it's hard to like find your placement of where you want to be. Like, but it's
right.
It's fun just to create and like
I think,
experiment with different genres and see what happens.
For sure. I think that's how you, in my opinion, like when you start operating in different genres like that, it kind of broadens your sound,
Your finesse,
and you could create stuff that almost seems like it's never been heard.
Yep.
Right.
But what we're really doing is kind of mixing genres.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
it's your own blend of
so it's like add a
genres
little
and your experiences.
I think specifically that keeps like if you're releasing albums or releasing songs, if you're releasing them in different keys and different genres, it keeps things really interesting and fresh, as long as you keep like the consistency of like this is a DWARE, a Danny Shipley song, or this is a 3 a.m. song, and that you just keep that consistency, and people, they eventually, I feel like they get it. It's like, oh, this is just an umbrella of a bunch of different genres, you know? And it's a lot of fun for me because I don't specifically, I'm like him. I like doing a lot of different things. It's a lot of fun.
See, as like a music creator, I feel like everybody wants to like experiment, and even when they have a sound and a record that does great, it's like, all right, now like what else can I make new, But from a listener standpoint, like I feel that the listener is like expecting your next record to sound like your last one, and no artist wants their new record to sound like their last one.
No, already did that. Yeah.
But the listener's always like, this doesn't sound like the last record. What's going on here?
This is not my band.
It's almost impossible to recreate that because when you're creating, you're in the creative mode, like a creative. You're in that creative space, right? But when you go back to create again, it's a whole different space.
Right.
So to try to recreate what you've created before, for me, I feel like it's impossible. I know I listen to some of my songs I've written, and I'm like, how did I come up with that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I could do that again. So it's, I like to push the boundaries for myself a little bit.
Yeah, I see a lot of artists that really like have their pocket, and they just like every record sounds like the same, and it's like, I mean, that's cool, and I respect that when people really just have that pocket that they're just great at, and they just knock it out every time, like they're right there, But I think the fun part about music is experimenting and creating something new every time, and
it keeps you unpredictable.
Exactly.
Also, I've actually had a fan that was listening to my songs that she talked to me and she said, the moment I thought I had you figured out, you went a whole different direction.
Yeah.
In a good way. Like she thought it was really good, but she's like, you went a whole different direction with that. And so I like that. I actually like being unpredictable. Also, I like to leave a little mystery to myself in a sense,
Exactly. I like the unpredictability, and
yeah,
it's cool. So prior to this, you were with the Wolf Hunters, and you were a drummer for them.
Yeah. I was with the Wolf Hunters. It's interesting. When they picked me up, when I started with them, they were already doing their own thing. Like we were both operating in our different lanes, right? They were doing their thing musically. They saw me playing drums and doing hip hop, so they approached me, and we kind of just came up with a deal where it was like, yo, if we need a drummer, can you perform and play drums with us? And then we'll also support and help you as far as your music and you know, recording and, you know, your studio time type of deal. You know, so I was like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Studio time is expensive. You know, so I picked them up. They picked me up. I started working with them. I worked with them for about 5 years, but I ended up during that time frame. I felt like I had grown, right? So while I'm still playing drums and working with them, behind the scenes, I was writing, you know, writing music and writing stuff, just kind of building my own brand, like behind the scenes, so that like when I was ready to launch, you know, it would be the right timing, you know. So I ended up moving on from them. You know, we were, I think when we went our separate ways, they had our visions kind of shifted as far as the direction I was going versus the direction they were going. So we met up and, you know, we decided to just move and go our separate ways. But here's the crazy thing about leaving from the Wolf Hunters. I left there. I had no idea what to do after that. I was in this funky mindset where like I didn't know what to create. I didn't know how to move forward business wise. Like I knew nothing. And one of the things was because when I was playing drums with the Wolf Hunters, I played the drums, but they handled the business side of things, right? So I had to learn the stuff that they were doing, like the business side of things, you know.
That's a whole different world is the business side of things. That's what's hard for most artists is doing both sides of it. You know, it's hard to handle, be creative and handle
now
the business
create
side.
Content, business, and be artistic and marry all of that with the new age we're in. It's wild. It's wild. Even like 5 years ago, it's changed.
Well, here's what I told myself during that season. I sat there in my studio. Actually, ironically, it's where the song came from. The song that we just recorded came from. And I was sitting in the studio and I'm like, bro, like we can sit here and, you know, in our pity, we can feel sad about, you know, the transition of not being in that, you know, with the Wolf Hunters anymore, or, you know, or we could go create. Like, I'm a creator. Like we could take this energy and create something. So actually, the crazy thing is what started me back into getting back in the studio and pushing my music again was one of my homies. His name is Boob J. And so he had reached out to me and he was talking to me about where I was at, how I was feeling about the transition. And here's what he said, here's what I want you to do. Go to your studio. Don't write any lyrics. Don't memorize any lyrics, nothing like that. Go to the studio, put a beat on and just rap, whatever comes out of you. And a lot came out of me. a lot of stuff, you know, and that stuff is coming. So I'm not going to reveal what actually came out of me, but a lot of stuff came out of me. And then from there, I was like, bro, this is really good. So I'm like, let's do another one. Yeah. And then I just got obsessed with like making records. So like, as of right now, like he knows I got a crap load of records just sitting on my computer that are waiting to be either mixed or mastered, or it needs another verse on it or something like that. It just, when I got into that creative space, I didn't even want to do shows or anything. I'm like, let's just create another record. Yeah. Let's make another song. But that's because at the end of the day, I had a bigger goal in mind where I wanted to have like just music on top of music, just waiting to go. Right. Just so like when I start releasing the music, I could just pick what I want to put out there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And choose. Yeah. Decide what's best after you have a little bit of a catalog and
yeah. Because I was thinking more from the business perspective, right? It's like, you know, as a local artist, I would put music out and, you know, I would say, hey, my new song's out, go check it out, right? And then likely most people are like, we don't even know you, who cares? Who are you? You know, and then they're like, hey, my show is coming up. Like somebody, you know, I mean, not somebody, but my show is coming up. Yo, get tickets now, they're on sale. And like nobody was really responding. So I'm like, we got to do something different. We got to think business. We got to think products. Like, I'm like, they're not responding because I'm not giving up any products to the people, you know. I'm just giving them a song. Yeah. Here you go.
And that's where it comes to the business side of things and the marketing. And, you know, it's a whole different mindset of how are we going to promote this properly as opposed to just like, make a song and here it is. Like,
It feels like with all
that's a beast within itself.
it is. It's
with
a whole
all the
different world.
with all the oversaturation of the market, it feels like you're earning their trust or their attention and such like that. Like you're just consistently, oh, pay attention to me for a whole second. It feels like, oh, well, just like really focus in on your art, focus in on your like what you do and how you play, and it will hopefully all work out.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean that's it's you really need a team. Most people need a team to really be successful in this business because it's really hard to be really good artistically and really good at the business side.
Oh yeah,
it's like you kind of either have like a medium of both worlds in most cases, or you're really good at one and really suck at the other.
Right.
In most cases,
Yeah, we're doing like everything in house. Like the crazy thing. So I'm producing now, and like I honestly told myself I was never gonna produce because I hated it. I'm like, I don't want to be in that side of music. And so what happened was I started sending my stuff out to other producers to produce for me. And when I would get it back, it just wasn't good enough. Like based on the sound that I was hearing in my head, like that's not good enough. So eventually I felt like, you know what? I'm an instrumentalist. I know how to play by ear. Let's just do it ourselves. So I started learning. I probably spent the last 2-3 years learning how to produce. I'm still not. I don't feel like I'm still. I still feel like I'm not good enough at it. He thinks I'm too hard on myself, but
I think he's really because we started putting out the songs. It started this acceleration. We started really since like last November, December when we were working on songs, and I was like, "You're gonna master that." And he's like, "I am. You trust me?" I'm like, "Yes." And I'll tell you if it sucks, but like it's been good. It's been consistently been getting better and better.
Actually, what too has been helping is because every time I approach a song, I always try to do something I've never done before, whether it's production wise or lyric wise. Sometimes he'll send me stuff that he's like, "Here's what I want," and I'm like, "I've never done that before." Like, let's see what happens.
Yeah,
we're gonna do a folk song this time. Ready?
Then I'll ask him. I'm like, "Do you trust me? You think?" It's like, "Yeah, you got this, bro." Actually, my wife is a huge supporter too, so I talked. I'm like, listen to this mix. I don't think it's good enough yet. And she's like, I think it's really good. I think you're just overdoing it.
Yeah. Oh, that's how you get better is, being your own worst critic.
Oh, yeah.
Keeps you progressing. If you think you're great at everything, it's hard to progress.
We were like the amount of like guitar takes that we were doing one night. I think we were up till like 5 a.m. It was 5 a.m. and it kept like that is so true. Like we are our own harshest critics, but so is he, especially with releasing songs. People are like, when's that new song coming out? And I'd be like, I don't know. My partner is still sitting on it. He's adding something to it.
I'm still producing.
And then he sends a song out. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? So look, it's always surprising.
I know all producers know what I'm saying with this. You mix the record.
Yep.
You think it's done. You listen to it and you hear something like, oh no, we got to fix that. And then there's something else like I got to fix that. And
and then you're for me, on 26 and you're like, I think this is it.
He's showing me this song in the car. He said, you hear that frequency? I'm like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
The crazy thing is like the producing world is a whole different game than anything I've done before as far as songwriting and playing drums or any instrument. Like it's a different beast within itself because of you have to develop your ear to be able to hear this and hear the different frequencies. And everything that's going on in the mix, all the instruments and balance and stuff, So there's times where I'm listening to songs and I'm asking him or even some people around me, and I'm like, so what do you think about that? Like, okay, do you hear that right there? Like, and they're like, no, I don't hear anything. I'm like, no, it's like this harshness. You don't hear that harshness on the high end?
You hear the
like,
muddled middle?
No, it sounds good.
It's like when you become an engineer or like really start paying attention to the engineering aspect of it, like you can't unhear things. Like it's like you listen to music completely different.
I don't even listen to music no more just to consume, like because I can't. Like I listen to the record, and as soon as I listen to any music, I'm breaking it down.
Yeah, that's how I am as an engineer and producer. It's like it's very hard for me just to like listen to a record and just like appreciate the lyrics and what most people are listening to. It's like I'm breaking it all down, how the mix sounds, how the beat is put together.
I think that's the worst when you're at live shows and you're breaking down like what you're hearing on stage too, and you're like, I used to just sit and enjoy this. Yeah. Now I am breaking down. I'm like, that bass frequency, it's not right. That's not good.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
But I'm still learning. We'll get there.
That's a great thing. You gotta keep learning, never stop.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love learning like new stuff, especially musically. So I was talking to him, or it might have been my wife. I don't know. I was talking to him, and I was like, I think the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna learn how to DJ. Like I'm always thinking about what's the next thing I can learn.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to like pace myself though, because what happens is I'll start learning this over here and working with this, and then I got all these songs over here I never mixed, and then I got this whole drum part that I never learned, and so
yeah,
I've been learning to tighten it up, and I have to pick and choose what needs to be done.
Right.
Yeah.
Making task lists.
Deadlines.
Yeah, give yourself deadlines. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, here's the crazy thing. I actually work better with deadlines.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you was to give me a deadline, in my mind, okay, we're focused on getting this done by this date. Now, if you don't give me no deadline, I'm gonna work that thing, and I'm like, not right. Work it some more. We keep working it. And you're gonna say, is that song done yet? And I'm like, not yet. It's almost there.
Yeah. No, definitely know how that goes.
Yeah.
All right. So this is bars. So you get to pick your first bar.
I will snap. Got some money under there?
There's a question under there, so
you
read it off. You guys can both.
It says, you have
Come up
won
with your
$1
best
million funded by Nexus.
Wait, who wrote this question?
Okay, for real. The question is, what is a total irrational fear you have? Do you have stories about it affecting your life? Let's see.
Yeah, definitely go first.
Fears. I think Danny's going to be able to handle this one first. It's a good question.
That is a very good question. Might be too good.
You know what? Actually, I got a practical one. Like one of my irrational fears. Hopefully, I'm using this in the right context. But I still struggle with the fear of what people think of me. Actually, like it's affecting me in such of a way where, I could get. Let's say I go to a show, I could get the whole crowd to be like, "Yo, your music is good. We love you." I could have 2 or 3 people in the crowd that's like, it wasn't that good. You're all right. Those 2 to 3 people will ruin my whole day. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, so I'm not good enough yet. I need to work harder because in my mind, I needed to make sure that everybody was liking what I was doing, which is not even reality. But in my mind, I'm like, well, if he didn't like it and he didn't like it, there was obviously something wrong there. And some of these people are just being nice. Yeah.
I think that's like somewhat every artist has that fear, where they're, they say they don't care what people think, but ultimately they're like, still, your music is your baby. Like, it's you are subconsciously, to a certain level, like always, what do people think about it though? Like,
right. Yeah, and it's rough because because with the music, you're putting your heart into it. I mean, if you're a true artist, you're putting your heart into it. So it's like you're giving the world you're giving them your heart. And if you're a very transparent person, right, you're giving them a lot of transparency, which could be super scary.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times in the music, when I write it, I talk a lot about a lot of personal stuff because when I tap into that personal space, I feel like I write better songs. You know what I mean? It's stuff that's relatable.
Mm-hmm. Me personally, with irrational fear, I would say in that category, it's just you're trying specifically. I'll do another artist's explanation similar to his. I'd say when you're performing, you're just kind of bringing your art in front of people. And me specifically, what your mood is or what it is. You just need to bring that art in front of them. If you're kind of slow that day, if you're feeling fast or whatever it is, you're supposed to kind of lean into that and just bring that out. And I think people can make the like most sense of the rest of it, because I feel like if we're like, we need this here, this has to be perfect like this. It's just like, we're not robotic. We're artists. We're supposed to be artists. And I think when you're in your practice space or when you were creating the song, you're just supposed to bring that in front of people, not this serious, tight, robotic thing.
Why you use that voice? That's how they sound to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, art doesn't have to be perfect. You know, you don't get to pick the next one yet.
No.
We know which one you're picking, though. I'm about to change them up. No, we'll get to it in a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, I think art isn't meant to be perfect. You know, it's like you want, you know, when you're presenting it to the world, it's like you feel like it has to be perfect, but you know,
what is perfect?
Yeah. And like with shows, for example, it's, I see a lot of artists they may mess up on stage. And if you know, for someone like me that's really paying attention to like the production end of it and things like that, it's like I may know that someone messed up, but then you talk to the audience, like people, and then they're like, what? Like, it was amazing.
They
like,
thought it was a part of the show.
Yeah, as long as you play it off and you're not like, oh, I messed up. It's like those imperfections, like they don't notice, and it's almost just like part of the art, Being imperfect is okay.
Yeah, I've had moments playing drums and I would get off and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, that was terrible. Like I may have had a section where I messed up, and I remember this moment. Somebody came to me and was like, bro, that lick that you did on that song was freaking dope. And I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Like that song I was like, oh, thank you. In my mind, I'm like, oh, that was actually a mess up. That wasn't even on purpose.
Some of the best stuff comes out of
that spontaneous stuff, and it just like came together. You're like, oh wow, you never know, because you're just supposed to be having fun. You're supposed to be enjoying yourself. I found the best art and best music that I create in front of people is when I'm enjoying it the most. How do I do that? Just relax. Yeah, enjoy it, and just
And that's something I was going to ask you earlier when you said, go in the studio, don't necessarily have like a plan, just go in there and create. And, you're coming up, that's like a new way of the industry in general, really, is like just going in the studio and creating on the spot, instead of like where it used to be everybody come in with their pad of paper and their song ready to go, and now it's like most people come in like with very little, and they are creating on the spot. And I think the feeling of the song, even maybe it's not as well written in some instances, but the feeling of it, like coming up with it on the spot, and it's what you're thinking of and how you're feeling right there and then when you're delivering it is, that spontaneousness and,
it gives us a sense of authenticity. Yes, that word. I can't. It's not coming out right.
Yeah, we got word. You. We know,
I think that's where our collaboration was really beautiful. I've worked with different producers, different recording. People have heard me play guitar, and they're like, "Oh, they want to bring this together," and then they'll show me the finished product, and I'll just be like, it just wasn't it, and they brought their best ideas, or they did something with my vocals, and I'm like, no, what made you think you should do that? But working with Danny, it's been he'll add ideas to it, and I'm like, wow, that just brought out what I wanted to show even more. Or you did something, and it's been nice like that. It's been refreshing to work with people that you don't just do what you show them, and then when they add things, it's just like, wow, that really added to the song. That's been a lot of fun. Throughout the months.
That's finding the right people that you collaborate with and you guys are on the same vibe. So when you do something, you have the same common goal, or it's like I'm going off the wall. Like let's change this folk record into like some EDM.
Yeah.
You come back, you lay down a folk record and come back and it's EDM. They're like, you like what I did with it? You're like, what
I actually had, it's really funny you brought that up. It was really funny. Somebody came to me like, I think you need some EDM. And I'm like, it's a folk record. The most I would want would be some like synth and keys, maybe. I don't know what off the wall idea. But yeah, the perfect collaboration. I feel like sometimes he'll show me like a song or something. He's like, yeah, I want you to add guitar to it. I'm like, okay, you just want me to just, and he has so much trust in my ability now. And I think it's vice versa too, that it's just like, this is going to be a good product.
Yeah.
And it's very cohesive like that. It's very nice.
Yeah. I know when we have those moments, like he'll come to the studio and he'll just like, hey, I got an idea. And all he comes with is a guitar riff.
Yeah, that's the main part.
that's all you need,
That's
right?
all you
That's
need,
all you
bro.
need to start.
He says, here you go, just loop that. And then this is the idea I'm thinking of. Okay, cool.
Starting point.
I'll talk to you later.
He lays down his guitar and he's out and he's like, all right, you got it from here, right?
You got it from here, champ. You got it from here,
Then I'm
champ.
like, okay, what do I do with this?
Oh my
So
gosh.
then I go and I throw some drums on there, some, piano on there, some different stuff on there, and then send it back to him, and he records some vocals, send them to me. I try to mix it all in, give it back to him. He's like, okay, sounds like a whole different song.
Yeah.
But it's just, I love creating. So like when you give me like some space and you say, like, here's what we want, but we want you to do what you do, right? My brain immediately starts to go like, okay, what can we do with this? What can we do with that? I'm listening to every instrument. Like, what is that instrument doing? And how can I apply a rhythm or a melody to this instrument to accompany that or something of that nature. I go into straight, like, what is that called? Composing. Just go straight to composing. And then I think about transitions. The transitions got to be flawless, things like that, No empty space. I hate empty space.
I know empty space is kind of like, I'm the same way, and a lot of people are, where it's like you gotta like fill it up. But then like I really appreciate a lot of records that I like that have just that like
standing
open
silence.
That openness sometimes is know.
Oh yeah.
I do like to incorporate that if I'm creating a mood. Here's the thing that I realized with songwriting is one thing I like to create songs with different emotions, right? Mm-hmm. And even when I'm performing, I place them in a certain order. And the purpose behind that is because behind music, if you do it right, you can tap into the emotions of people, right? And from there, once I tap into the emotions of people, then I can inject whatever message I want to do, And so I enjoy doing that because now I can take the listener for a ride a little bit, you know what I mean? And just kind of, spark their emotion and really get them into what I'm seeing or what I'm feeling,
Yeah. So, and you said you started off with Christian music, playing drums, and do you now, with your rap style, do you consider yourself a Christian rapper, or
That's an interesting question. I know. Okay, so like I think the way I classify myself is I actually don't like to classify myself necessarily whether I'm a Christian artist versus a secular artist or whatnot, because I don't feel I need to. I feel like if the music doesn't speak for me, then I'm not doing a good enough job, right? Because like the music is coming from a spiritual place.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I don't feel like I need to interpret whether I'm a Christian artist versus I'm a secular artist or whatever type of artist. The music should speak for itself, right? So the listener should be able to interpret what it is and to them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't actually like to be boxed.
Yeah.
I feel like to put labels on myself like that is put myself in a box. Right. But to be honest, I am I'm still what I'm trying to say. Actually, I'll tell you this actually. So like transitioning from Christian music, like being in only Christian music and then going outside of that, right? One thing I struggled with was like, how do I take what I do, what I've gotten good at doing, right? And the faith and the spirituality behind it, right? How do you take that and go outside of the church, right? Or outside of the Christian music space, right? And now I'm amongst artists that are talking about all kinds of things. it doesn't translate the same. So what I had to learn is like, how do you take that same core message but still make good music that works? You know what I mean? So it was a journey to try to figure that out. So I like to talk about real stuff, to be honest. When I'm making music, it's like, let's talk about real stuff, because we could talk about, if I have a song where I want to talk about Christianity or God, we'll write it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you have a message behind all of your songs? Is it like a general message, or is it like every song is different? Like, it could be,
Honestly, I like to let the music tell me what the message is, right? And also, like, to be honest, when I'm creating music, I'm also, how do I say this? I feel like when I'm creating, I'm co-creating with God, right? So I don't necessarily approach a song from the perspective of, here's what we're going to talk about. Usually I let the music tell me and the spirit tell me what to speak on. So like what I like to do is if I have let's say you send me a beat, I like to just play it for a second and see what I hear, what's going on here. And what is like, to me, every record has its own personality, its own characteristics.
Yeah.
And so I listen to see, what is it telling me? What words am I hearing? What sounds do I hear? And I just go from there, like, whatever comes out of me.
I think the best songs are when it just flows naturally. Like it almost feels like it writes itself. Yeah. Like you hear that and it's just, the lyrics start flowing, or the guitar riffs, it's just, it just comes out of you naturally. It's like nothing about it is forced. It's just, you the spirit, or, it's.
I think I write better too when I'm angry. Yeah. If I'm angry about something, like I'll write about it, and I think I've written some of my best songs more so out of anger. I may edit them, right, to make them a little better, but some of my best songs came out of anger, like, and I don't. No, that's not what I want to say. I was gonna say something that would have came off all wrong, but.
I think a lot of the greatest songs too come from dark places,
desperation,
sad times. Is when those emotions, you really have the strongest emotions is when you're angry or when you're sad, and that's like, to put those emotions out on a song is like therapy.
It's so therapeutic. I feel like people like. I love what he said, because I agree with it. If you limit yourself to like, this is what I am, these are the genres I play, and this is the only message that I have, I am always this perfect little angel or whatever, or whatever you are, and it just kind of limits you. Especially, I think, if you have a message, if you're trying to be impactful and help people, then you actually say, I am a human. I do go through this. I have gone through this. I think it's important on a moral basis where that kind of ends up, personally, how I write, but also like to be uplifting. But I think if you are want to help people, you have to be honest.
You're right.
You have to be honest.
Yeah, nobody, like you said, is just perfect all the time. Everybody goes through things, and
that's where you can see the first liar. You're like, you're a liar.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. We like to use we write from a real perspective, real life stuff. The thing is, though, we know how to write a party record, though. If you wanted a party record, we can write some.
We're working on a party record.
All right.
So
look forward to
I feel like we're pretty versatile. Like I write songs that are just like, yo, let's just have fun. Party. I got other songs that's like, I feel some type of way, let's talk about it, right? Or emotional, or I may write something where it's like, this is a vibe, let's just vibe, like I never, like, again, I think I said this, but I don't like that. My thing is, I don't like to create something I've already created. So I'm really strict on myself. So it don't even matter if it was like a couple of songs ago. Like, it don't matter. Like, if I'll go through my catalog, and when I write the song, if I've done that, I'm like, we can't do it. We gotta figure something else out. I'm literally down to, like, when I'm writing, like when I'm like rapping or whatever, I don't even like to use the same word. Like, if I use a word
super intense on the lyric side.
I don't like to use the same word again in that verse. Period.
Oh yeah.
Like, you can't, like, I tell myself, you can't use that. You got to either come up with another line or come up with another word that is similar to that one. Like,
Yeah.
but we can't use the same words. Like, I'm so strict on myself.
Yeah,
But
I see a lot of people do that, and I'm like, oh. But then I'm like, it does sound good though. Like,
I'll tell you what that does.
anything,
What that does when you start operating in that space. Right now, when you start doing that, it's uncomfortable because it's not normal. Like you don't. If you're listen, it doesn't. If you're writing a song, writing a book, writing a paper, whatever you're writing, it's not normal to. Okay, I'm gonna use this word and not use it again.
Yeah,
it's not normal when you think about it. And you know, and I don't even think the way I approach the music is necessarily normal. And it's uncomfortable at first, right? But once you start operating in that, if that's your normal process for creating, you start to tap into it naturally.
Yeah.
You know, because I had to figure it out.
The more you push yourself, the easier it's going to come to be able to do that naturally. You know?
What it does, it makes you go outside the box.
Yeah.
And I also don't use any. I don't like filler words. Like I don't like to use. I don't like to use any explicit words or anything like that. If you hear anything like that from me, there was a strategic reason why I used that word. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to any explicit words, I usually don't use those because to me it's filler words. Right. To throw F-bomb or you know any type of other word in front of a line that I'm writing, to me is a filler word. That's no shot to anybody that does that. Don't get me wrong.
You can use something that's more impactful and actually.
I'm like, we could say something that hits harder.
Yeah.
Like, what if we don't? It really forces you to be more creative.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so get to pick your second bar here. You know where you're going.
That's the $1 million one.
What is your strangest family tradition? That's a good. These are great. These are great questions. I mean, like, I'll just say that my family, it's hilarious. I got family from Pennsylvania, which is super Midwest, and it's very similar to Ohio. And then I got family from Michigan. And when we all get together, it's like, wow. Like the conversation is just like, it's like, wow. It goes crazy, it goes all over the place. And it's very explorative thing. I'd say for me, my family tradition, it's just like, it's wonderful. It felt like within my family, a very diverse set of thoughts and ideals. It was just consistently changing. I'd say that would be my answer to that. That's the tradition.
I wouldn't think that Michigan and PA are like that much different, but I guess
worlds apart. Worlds apart. My dad's side family is PA. My mom's side family is Michigan. When we all get together, it's like, all right, who brought what? What are we going to talk about this time? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like two different worlds at war.
Actually, I got what. I don't know if this is a strange one, but one thing. Okay, so one tradition that we had, we actually don't do it no more, but this is more so when I was growing up. But anyways, my family, we used to go out and pick strawberries as a family, but it wasn't just like my, my mom and sisters or whatnot. It would be like the whole family. It'd be uncles out there, aunties out there, it'd be cousins. We all out there with the Amish just picking strawberries, because we was making a little money. But like that was during the time where we were a bit financially challenged. And so we would go out, and that's how that's how I used to make my money, go out and pick some strawberries. And then we did that in the summer. Well, that's when the strawberries are growing, but we did it in the summer season because we had, our family used to go to Niagara Falls, Canada every year. Right. And so we needed a way. Well, I won't say we, but I was talking about myself. I ain't had no money. So I'm like, we need to get some money. So when we had to pick strawberries, me and my sisters would take all our money from there and put it in the box and save it. Actually, that might be a strange one. So what we would do is not just me and my siblings, but all of us, our cousins, everybody. We would take the money we made. We put it in envelopes. Each time we went out and made the money, we would give it to our granny, and she had this big box, and she would throw all the envelopes in the box. So we go off to vacation. And while we were on vacation, we would actually have, before we like went out to do like the big stuff, like the attractions and whatnot, we would meet in my granny's hotel space or whatever. Mm-hmm. She actually, it was cool. She had like she had a really nice one. So we all go in there, and she would take that box and she would open it up, and then she would actually call out the names and hand out the money with everybody, cool. Which was pretty cool. It was like, we made it a festive time. Like somebody was on the grill and somebody was cutting the watermelon, and like it was crazy, So maybe that's strange one. Maybe something that most families don't do. But
It's
yeah.
cool. It's fun.
So
Nice. So, doing shows. You guys have been doing some shows. You guys recently did Tiki Stick.
we did. Actually, no, we haven't. I haven't been doing too many shows. I really honestly went away from doing shows and went away from playing drums for a while. But that's just because I wanted to learn the business, right? My plan was, okay, we need to build a brand. We're not acting like local artists anymore.
Right.
We need to build a brand, which means we need to take time to learn. So we need to learn the business. We need to learn like anything we need to do in house. We need to learn the stuff. So I'm like, no shows. I'm just gonna focus on the business.
Yeah.
So we did do Tiki Stick festival in Marion, Ohio. Was it like it was August 3rd, August 2nd and 3rd is when it happened. And so we were out there performing, and it felt good. Out there, and I felt like I think I'm ready to go back to doing shows.
Yeah.
So is that the first one you guys have done in a while, or
In a while, yes.
Together.
is that the first time you guys performed together at all?
No,
Or?
the last time,
Okay.
the time before that, what was the first time we like performed our music? Was it probably
We
Tiki?
performed.
Was it Tiki, bro?
I think the first time we did was Tiki Stick Festival last year.
Last year, yeah, 2023.
And then from there, I was playing drums for some of his gigs.
Okay.
So yeah.
And the next show that we have currently, it could change very quickly, is in October 13th in Mississippi at a benefit concert. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Yeah. So we plan on getting back into doing shows coming up this fall.
Yep.
To be honest, but yeah, we just took a break. He was still gigging though. He was still going out and playing guitar and whatnot and connecting with people. I just stayed behind. I'm like, yo, let me, go play, make some money, whatever. I need to learn the business. We'll learn this, together. We'll try to navigate it. And so, that's where we're at now, just, shooting a music video. We got a lot of work. Like we got a lot of songs that we're sitting on right now that we're trying to get mixed, mastered, trying to get videos done, so,
Nice.
this is part of the process.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you did Freestock a few years ago, right?
I did. The crazy
You're a
thing is,
sponsor.
I don't necessarily remember my time there. I might have been drunk. To be honest, I'll put it out there. But I don't drink no more, right? That's I've sobered up since then. But like back then, I was drinking, so I might not remember, to be honest. But I remember being when they described it to me. I remember being there. Just don't remember what happened there, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that goes.
But thank God we're not
happens,
doing that
yeah.
anymore. But yeah, that was during the days where I was drinking a lot, and I was still playing drums with the Wolf Hunters. So
Okay.
yeah, they might be, if they watch, they may be like, oh, I
Chime
remember
in.
that night. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember that night.
So what's one of your favorite shows that you've done? Do you have a favorite show experience?
Yes, it was okay. I was performing with the Wolf Hunters, and we were opening for Puddle of Mud, and I think that was one of the shows where I first was in front of as many people as I was. And so I get on the stage, and I didn't even know people even knew who I was. So I get on the stage, I'm getting on drums. I was the first one to come on the stage, and then the band comes on after me. So I go on the stage. I went to hit the PC to get the tracks running and everything, get settled on the drums. And I'm looking out, and I'm like hearing people calling my name, and I was like, yo, like who's even out there? Like I couldn't even see who was actually saying my name, but it was like, and all I seen was there was like people from, it was packed out, like, this was the Odeon, the old Odeon. And so it was packed from the front to the back. The balcony was packed out. And so I just didn't know, I didn't realize that people knew who I was that. So it made me instantly nervous. I was like, oh snap, they really know me. And so I went to sit on drums. I cannot make this up. I went to sit on drums. The instrumental starts. And if you go back and listen to that recording, I'm slightly off. Like I completely bombed that intro. Well, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. Because in the moment I fixed it in the moment, but like I freaking messed that intro up, like for real. And it was just because I was like, I got nervous. Like normally I don't get nervous like that in front of all those people. Normally I'm like, yes, let's do this. But when they started saying my name, I'm like, they actually know me. Like it made me so nervous. I'm like, bro, because I think when at that point in my mind, the expectation just went up.
You're right. Yeah. Like they're gonna know who I am if I mess up. Oh shit.
So that was a good one of my favorite shows. It was fun.
Oh, that's cool. What's your?
I think what a great moment, like a great personal show that I did way before I knew Danny. I won a competition at the Cleveland House of Blues in 2015, and that was like a moment that I was like, we can do this. Like we can take this music and go places. Like it's important to believe in yourself, but I felt in that moment like I saw it. I saw what my future could be, and it was cool. It's cool telling promoters. It's cool telling people when booking shows like, "Hey, I did win this competition at the Cleveland House of Blues." And the label guy who came here, he was trying to like talk to a rapper after the competition, and he ended up talking to me. He's like, "I don't really know how to talk to a band, but you guys were the best guys there." So it was like, wow, it just felt like a total realization. It was a really fun show to do.
That's cool. Yeah. That moment when you had like
you're just like this is emotion.
This is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. Like,
yes. Whatever happens.
That's awesome. Very nice. All right, so we got one more bar here. It's your pick.
Get your bars.
Take your pick.
All right, let's see what we got.
I knew you were gonna pick that one.
Well, you did.
Yeah, I did.
Stop it. You don't know me like that, bro.
It's so funny.
Okay. This one says, what is the most absurd law you would pass if you were given temporary control of the government? Look,
Oh my gosh.
that's a creative question.
Oh my gosh. Like an
Let
amendment.
me see.
Oh man. Like Tuesdays, everybody has to wear pink or something. It's just something completely
Lord.
ridiculous.
Oh no.
It's like whatever you want.
Yeah, it can be anything.
Like Fridays, we eat chicken. Why?
No, we'll say every Friday they have to eat some watermelon. My wife is gonna hate that because she don't like watermelon.
Oh my gosh. Like only watermelon
That's all you get to eat.
That's a rule.
the whole day.
Nothing.
You know what? Yeah, that'll be because it'll be a good cleansing day.
I was gonna say that's kind of a good cleanse for,
Everybody's gonna hate that though. Oh man!
I mean, I love water.
I want my
We
steak.
catch you outside and you're not wearing pink, you're going to jail.
You gotta be wearing pink and eat watermelon. That's the rule.
All right.
Pink and eating watermelon. That's what we came up with.
Oh man, that's funny.
It's not a bad day. I mean,
It's a neutral color, right?
yeah, it works.
Oh man, actually, I ain't gonna lie. I would hate my own rule. Cause I'll be like, look,
Yeah, you gonna make the rule and then be like, all right, I don't know about this.
I need a,
I don't make the rules, guys.
I need a steak,
wait, I
bro.
did.
Oh
Damn.
man, oh that's funny. Got me crying right now.
That was great.
Oh man, that's funny.
All right. So where you guys are at now in your career, what advice would you give to somebody just starting out and trying to, get into the industry, whether it's their first song, their first show, some knowledge you can pass down to the next guy?
I would say do it with passion and purpose, right? And that's what's going to outlast. And the reason why I say that is because in my time in music, anytime I see anybody doing it outside of that, like for example, if they're just doing it for the money, they're doing it for the attention or something of that nature, they never really last. And the reason why is because as an artist starting out, you don't make money. You spend money.
Yeah.
A
lot of investment in the beginning.
Yeah. So you go have people that are they're gonna quit because they're spending money. They're not making money.
Yeah.
Right. Like and then honestly there should be a purpose behind it, right? Because that's what's gonna drive you to continue doing it. Like no matter, because things are gonna happen. So no matter what happens, you'll still be driven if you have a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
I'd say just it's okay to love your favorite artists and to keep expanding on that and like kind of studying them and such, but also know that you are an artist too, and realizing your own voice within your technique and also your singing, and just kind of, you might not sound like them. You might not, you might think you're comparable or something, but just keep leaning into your talents. Your voice might sound different. It probably will. Your technique, it's going to be different. And that is the beauty of what you should do. And just don't be afraid. Don't really limit yourself to those boxes, and just enjoy it. Just enjoy yourself, because if you want to make like a long lasting career, just make it art. Make it art. Just enjoy yourself, because any other reason, I don't know if it's going to work out very well, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like at the end, you're just going to get burnt out if you're not enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 2 more points, actually. Like, this is like advice, but it's also my pet peeve, so I'm going to make him know. So, now here's the thing. When it comes to marketing, right? This is to all you new artists out there. Like, don't tag 100 people on your post to try to sell your record.
Oh, the followers
Like,
tags, man.
Learn some marketing.
Oh, man.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
The other thing is, don't just walk up in front of a producer or an artist or somebody of that nature and then start rapping or singing. Like, present your content professionally.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
That has worked for almost nobody.
Yeah.
Couple people it has worked for.
Yeah.
But in most cases, that does not work, and they're just
Oh my
like,
gosh.
"Please get away from me."
It's like, I love the confidence, bro, but you need to do this right. Like,
Yeah.
it's the confident ones. That's what's crazy. It's like, how are you so confident about this trash?
Yeah.
This literal trash. Like, go back to the drawing board, create something.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I wouldn't say trash, because I think, anything unless it really is trash, if you're not really putting anything behind it. But
That's what I'm saying.
the thing is, I think everything that's created it's art, right?
Yeah.
Art
Yeah.
is a reflection of self. Like, you could create based on your own skills, your own ideas, your own whatever, right? And just because the next person doesn't like it and think it may be trash, you can always, there's somebody else that's gonna dig it, right? That is if it really isn't trash. Because I'm sure some people heard my records and probably feel like, I don't like that record. It's trash. I think he said something about Jesus there. I don't like that one.
Yeah.
Like,
That's something is like, it's hard to, when people ask like, is my music good? Is it good enough? Or there's so many people in the world that have so many different opinions.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
even if it's something that I don't like I'm, very broad in what I listen to, and, but there's music that I don't like, but there's music that I don't like makes a lot of money, and there's a lot of people that love it. It's finding
that is so
your
funny when it
audience.
happens,
And to what you said, with tagging people, and a lot of people, kind of judge how they're doing, off of tagging 100 people in it, and like,
this is crazy.
I only got 15 likes from all these people. Like, they don't like my music, but
It's trash to spam people. It's trash to like hold them hostage. It's trash to think that you're gonna get the record deal, or you're going to get the producer's attention. It's like, bro, come to me with like come to me with like a little bit of a resume, an Instagram that looks like you put some thought into it. Get some recordings out there, get your feet wet, go to some open mics. Get out there.
It's a weird thing, but one thing I've definitely found, and I see a lot, is that people are looking to the people closest to them to like embrace their music, and like your family and like really close friends, typically they will, but like, it's usually the people that you don't know and have never met are your biggest fans.
Yep.
It's the people that you expect to be and are close to you are like, yeah, it's a good song, but it'll be the person that you've never met that is like, will buy all your merch, be at every one of your shows, and be the diehard fan, It's getting, like you said, the promotion is, not just promoting to the people, it's figuring out the ways to get it out there to the bigger audience. And that's where you're really going to see, you know,
movement,
the appreciation for your music, you know, it's getting it to new people. And, you know, that's where I find most people get the best feedback. You know, they have fans in other states that they've never been to, or other countries that they've never been to, and these people are diehard fans
in the front screaming, wearing the shirts.
You know?
So my thing is when I'm like thinking about like marketing and music or whatnot, I'm not actually trying to get like my family and my friends and, you know, fellow artists. Well, no, that's a little different story, but like the friends and family, I don't really try to get them to necessarily, I don't look for them to like push me in a sense, like, hey guys, you know, whatever, you know, because at the end of the day, a lot of people that are friends and family are going to support it just because they know who you are.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they actually like it. Right. Now, I will say this about my family. I got some real ones in my family. So I'll be honest, like some of the people in my family will reach out and tell me that song is whack. They are honest people. Yeah, they're honest people, man. Like my wife is the first one. I remember writing a song and I was like, yo, tell me what you think. And she was like, I mean, it's cool. Then she says, I like that part. But then she stops and she's just like, you know what? Let me just be honest. I think it's whack. I don't think it's good enough. So I was like, for real? I worked so hard to write that. Her response to me was this: you represent both of us, and I'm not about to let you go out there and make me look stupid. That's what she said. I'm like, but it was good that she did that to me, because I went back to the lab and I rewrote the song and came back and I was like, what you think? And she's like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I still do that now. I still give her everything I write and say, what do you think? And she asked me, why do you still do that? Like, I think you're good at it. I think every song you've written has been good. It's like, because like I still need to know if it's good enough. Like, you know, like I'm trying different stuff. You let me know.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I feel like when writing a song, we might be packing in too many ideas. I've seen this. I've done this myself. Like especially when you're writing your first songs, like you're packing in all your favorite resources of music and everything. And so you hear the song and you're like, oh, wow, that's like 3 different songs. So you can recycle all of those ideas and put them in and disperse them into other things, but just hold on to that, put that in a journal, put that in a notebook or binder, and you might need those lyrics later. That's happened to me quite frequently. But like when you're putting out your first record, your first song or whatever, it's just like, I gotta do everything. Like it's like, no, don't do that. You're hitting different genres within one song. It's bad. You can only do 2.
Only 2.
That's a personal rule.
Yeah. And that's the thing though too, like not every song you make has to be put out, but it's all making you better, like you know, staying consistent and just creating constantly, even if you don't put it out or it's not your best song, you know, it may never see the light of day, right. But just that creation process of consistently doing it is making you a better artist. And 100%. You know, like you said, you can always recycle things. You know, it's best just to get in there and create, and you know.
Yeah, I got a bunch of. I mean, I got a handful of songs that will probably never see the light of day. Some of them, one of them, I went through the whole process of getting it mixed, master, everything, and it's just sitting. I was like, I don't know if I ever put this out. Like,
I think it's not artists have.
It's not a bad. So there's things about it I didn't like. But
this is a living room song.
But hear my song, nobody else heard.
They can play this when I die.
Right. So there's songs there's tons of songs I've written that I never recorded that are just lyrics that I probably will never write. But the cool thing is it's giving me, you know, just kind of pages of lyrics that like if I ever get like a writer's block, then I could go and just like, oh, what do I have here, and kind of key off of it. The crazy thing is the way I create is I'll sit down and write a verse for real, but then I'll get in the studio and my mood changes. So I get in the studio, I'll put the beat on, and I was like, let's see what I could come up on the spot. And then I end up using none of the lyrics I wrote. Like that actually happened with a song me and him is writing now that I'm working on mixing. And he had came over to the house and I was sitting outside writing the song. And I probably had enough for more than a verse. I had wrote a bunch of lyrics. But like I went to the studio and I put the beat on, and I like everything to be authentic. So I was like, well, we'll just sit the verse down, the stuff we wrote, we'll sit that down. If we need to key off of it, we will, but I'll just put the beat on. It's like, okay, what do I hear now? And it's crazy because it's like when I did the song with him, I mean, with the song we're working on, I was writing it and it just wasn't coming out. Like I wasn't getting it like I wanted to. And so that's why when I went in the studio, I was like, well, let's see what we can come up with. And then the crazy thing is I came up with this rhyme scheme and I liked this rhyme scheme. And I was like, well, let's see if I could do it, if I could keep going with it. And then it was like, okay, a couple more bars. And I'm just like, well, maybe I want to say this here. But I was like, but I like this rhyme scheme. Let's see if I keep going with it. And I ended up going through the whole song off that same rhyme scheme. It was like 8 bars with the same rhyme scheme. Nice. It was crazy. I'd never done that before.
And the finished product was spectacular. Like, it's not finished yet. Like, we're not done with the recording yet. But what he made as far as the rap, and like, he sat on this song. It was like 2-3 months. And literally, it's so crazy creating, like, sometimes that stuff happens. You're sitting there. It took 15 minutes to write a whole song. It all just came to you. And sometimes you just got to sit on that. You just got to keep cooking until something is like felt natural, felt good. And I think it sounds. I'm really excited for changes too.
And I'm going through the process of mixing it, and I mixed the vocals like 5 times. I mean, it's like when I'm recording, like when I'm mixing, it's like I have a certain sound in mind that I'm hearing. Yeah. And if they're not hitting, I'm like, well, we'll take those plugins off, start from scratch, redo it, and I'll just keep redoing it. So that's why exactly. That's actually why some of the songs don't come out. That's why some of the songs don't come out, because I'm like, I don't like that. We're gonna remix this whole thing. So I've been learning when to just say, okay, it is what it is. Just leave it. We can put that effort into a whole nother song. Right. We'll eventually get to that point where I'm getting that sound.
And sometimes it's like, I feel, artists and engineers are just overcritical to where it's something that bothers you, but nobody else will ever pay attention to
nobody
it.
Cares.
But it's just like, you can't unhear it.
There's no such thing as a perfect song. Yeah. There's no, it's good. You want good. You want great, but completely perfect and isolated. It's utopia. It's impossible, bro. It's not there.
Yeah. I'm actually working on trying to get away from actually mixing and mastering everything. Just because, working with other producers gives a fresh ear. Yeah. And then they'll have ideas like, bro, we could do this, or let me help you with your mixing or whatever. So
it's hard to do everything yourself, just like the business standpoint, being creative.
I am the artist. I am the engineer.
The thing is, like, when I left the Wolf Hunters, right? I started working on. I'm like, I want to be in a position where I don't have to rely on anybody. Right. So I went through the process of learning how to mix, produce, learning how to compose, instrumentals, and learning how to write songs like lyrically. I learned how to do everything myself, all the way to like the graphic design. I do my own graphic design work, some video work, marketing. I do it all myself. But like I wanted to actually take the time to learn this stuff because I wanted to have, first of all, full control of what I'm doing. But I think as you learn more, everything kind of works together in a sense. Now I'm in a position where I feel like I've learned enough to where I'm still going to keep learning, but I want to start outsourcing certain things that are more better in some of those areas. Like, instead of me doing my own videos, you'll just reach out to a videographer that knows what he's doing. Right? Yeah. Or
you can't be the best at everything. It's good to know the basics of everything. I'm the same way. Like, I like to know at least like the basics and be able to have input, like valuable input, not like where somebody's trying to tell me how to engineer and they're using completely wrong terms and you like, it's like, the internet, if you want to have real input on something, you need to know the basics of it at least. You know what I mean? Yeah. To communicate properly.
And I definitely don't. At this point, I'm like, I actually, if I could get to a point where I'm literally just doing the creative stuff, like writing the songs and recording and things like that, and outsourcing everything else, videos, mixing and mastering everything, I would actually do it that way. I personally actually don't want to do it all. Yeah, honestly, there's some days I go to sit down and produce, and I'm like, oh God, I don't feel like doing this today. But it's not gonna get done if I don't do it. So
What were you gonna say?
I was just saying the internet age has made everybody an expert, and it's so funny, and it's like it's not, it feels inhuman, especially on our artistic side. It's like, no, like it's okay to have somebody tell you that this might work in this song, or it might, maybe if we try this and different strategies, because you're just, I don't know, I feel like you're spreading yourself thin, and you're not gonna be the most successful or something if you are the expert at the audio, if you are the expert at the guitar. Like if he comes over and tells me something about the vocals or the guitar, most likely I'm gonna be able to tell him it's great or not. But the vice versa also, if he comes to with me with a beat, I'll be like, that's good. And like it's just, he's like, well, it's not good enough. Like I'm like, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
But just learning how to, I think just working with your community that is immediately in your state and your city and stuff such like that, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun.
Yeah, the collaboration process.
Oh
is,
yeah, so much more fun.
Yeah.
So
just
much
finding
more.
the right people to work with, but you know,
Yeah.
it brings a lot to the table when you find the right people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, moments like that are nice. You just go in the studio. What are we gonna create? I don't know. Just put something on. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. And a lot of times that's the best stuff. You know, just on the spot and pure.
Right.
You know. So, what do you guys have coming up? Upcoming releases? What should we be looking for?
Oh man, like so we have a handful of upcoming releases. So as of right now, we're gonna get started with setting up our distribution for a few singles. So our plan is to have a couple of singles coming out back to back. As of right now, so our plan really is we're gonna drop a few singles, some videos, things like that. You know, just kind of see how things are moving, and then after that, I have an album plan that should come out. You know, with some more videos. You know, but first I want to see how these singles and these videos that we're about to put out, I want to see how they perform, and you know, to see if we need to pivot or is what we're doing working. You know,
Yeah.
So that's the plan.
I mean, I think ultimately the singles right now is, you know,
That's what's up.
it's the most important thing is just being consistent with the singles.
Yeah.
And, you know, once it's time and you have the people that are really waiting for that album, you know, then it's worth doing an album. But, you know.
That's
the
why we
sing-
want to push the singles first, and then.
Yeah.
But even the album, we're not even. We're gonna try to be creative with the album. We're not just gonna drop it like here's a full album type of deal. You know, we're trying to figure out a creative way to do that. You know, so to keep things moving. You know,
Nice.
so yeah.
Do you have a name or anything, or the next single that you're dropping?
Probably changes.
I don't know.
You don't think it's changing?
Okay, I'll actually give you. There's a couple of songs that I'm going to, because when I do the distribution, I'm going to try to set up a few of them simultaneously. So I got one called "Fly Away," another one called "Losses," and we just shot a music video for that one, and there was one more. Oh, it's called "Back." Right? No, what is it called? "Back on It." I think it's called. I think that's the name at the
Something like
moment.
that.
I don't know. We'll figure out the name, but those 3 records we're gonna try to get going.
Nice.
And then also I got a spoken word piece that I did that I want to try to
Sitting on
inject
tons
in
of
there.
content.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, he's
So-
He's been cooking.
So
Yeah.
where can the people find your music? Tell them the links to check out.
Cool.
know.
You can find me on Facebook under DWARE Music, and also Instagram under DWARE Music, and then we're on Spotify, Apple Music. You can find me under DWARE, and actually I have another profile out there on Spotify. I'm using both of them actually, which is Danny WARE.
Nice.
We're actually going to decommission the Danny WARE Spotify eventually and just run with the DWARE.
Change everything
Yeah,
over.
we're actually going through a transition, but trying to do it, smoothly versus just stopping the one and throwing the other one out there.
Right. Gotcha. Well, I appreciate you guys coming and talking with me today. It's a great interview.
Also, make sure you look up Danny Shipley on Danny Shipley Music on all platforms, and 3M Creations under all platforms.
And so you have your own music.
Yes.
completely.
Yeah.
And then 3M
3M was
is your collaboration.
Yeah, it was a literal collaboration, whereas the song that we just shot the video for and everything, that was something that we just kind of treated like whoever created the most, that's the record. But it's really nice because there's no competition between us. But yeah, there'll be a lot of songs that he's playing drums on like the track. And I'll be singing. It's like, that's a Danny Shipley song. Whereas a 3 a.m. song is like, that's the lo-fi, that's neo soul and stuff like that, which will be coming out soon. More.
Nice. Excited
Yeah,
hear
like
new music.
to give it more context to with that is like, so he actually has his own brand under Danny Shipley Music. I have my brand under DWARE Music.
Yeah.
But 3 a.m. Creations is a brand that me and him created. That's kind of like an umbrella for both of us.
Okay.
But that is a space where we can actually release music that we don't normally do.
Yeah.
So like my platform has more of a hip hop sound. You know, he is more of a
rock, blues,
John Mayer sound.
Yeah.
But like 3M Creations, we can actually, that's where we can start doing the experimenting with different genres and things like that, where you could just throw one out here and there.
Nice.
And it doesn't interrupt what the fans are normally used to hearing from me or
Yeah,
from him,
that's cool. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
So it gives you more freedom.
Yeah,
But the crazy
exactly.
part is like every performance, if he's there, I'm trying to get him to like at Tiki, it was like this, it was a 3 a.m. song. I was like, you should rap. And he's like, I don't like to spontaneously rap. I'm like, today you are. But we try to collaborate, and it's just been really fun. People trying to figure out like who is fronting what. It depends on, it's like the show. It depends on the video shoot or like what context it is, because there's going to be folk festivals we play at that it's probably going to be more over here. And if it's a rap context, it's definitely over here. Yeah. I'm not going to be doing any of that.
No,
You're
like,
not rapping?
No, he wants me to. He wants me to. And I
no,
was like,
no. Look, what I'm aiming for is like this R&B style from him. You know, that fits in that hip hop space.
Right.
That's what I'm aiming for.
Drake.
You know, I don't know if that works for you.
Dope.
It's
All
good.
right. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more of you.
Oh yeah, man,
new
we're
music
excited.
and collaboration with you guys.
Oh yeah, yes sir.
Everything I've heard has been really dope. So
Awesome.
We
looking
appreciate
forward
it.
to it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. We'll definitely
Thanks
be
for
back.
having us.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you guys coming and talking with me today.
Oh yeah,
So,
thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely be back.
Cheers.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
This is B.A.R.S in Nexus Sound Studio, and that's a wrap.